people come with the blood tests or stool tests, and I'm like explaining what's happening in the body, and you learn a lot from it. And then in private sessions, we usually talk about private stuff, everything that is super private, yeah? But here it's even educational. So right now, because we will be interpreting the hormonal tests for Suze, I'm also showing this graph of the menstrual cycle. Because when we are doing any test for the hormones, we always want to do it in the luteal phase, which is the second part of the menstrual cycle. Because only when the egg, bursts, yeah, and goes down, only then this corpus luteum is created, and corpus luteum produces progesterone. So the only way for us to know how much progesterone you have and whether you are ovulating is in a luteal phase. So when you will hear me saying, okay, when you go to the doctor or go to the laboratory, it is usually day 21. Because if the menstrual cycle is regular and you have 28 days, the ovulation happens in the day 14. And so day 14 is the only day when you can get pregnant. Yes, they mark here for you that 13 and 14 is also possible because we never know exactly when is the ovulation. But the egg that gets out of the follicle lives only for 24 hours. Then it dies, okay? Because as it goes through the fallopian tubes, it gets into a harsh environment and it dies. So it has only this 24 hours when it can meet the sperm, the right sperm, to make a baby. So it's when somebody says, I don't want to get pregnant and they are in a luteal phase, it's not possible, ladies, okay? Or if somebody just finished the menstruation and wants to tell me that is worried to get pregnant, it is also not possible because the egg is in a follicle. It's hidden in a follicle in ovaries, okay? Not possible. So remember, that's only when it bursts and when it travels down 24 hours for, making babies. That's it. And so Suze did her test 2 days before the menstrual cycle. So you can see that progesterone, the one that we want today test on a day 21, because you can see that from the day 24, the green line, the progesterone is low. Only when this corpus luteum starts to build it, which is around day 21, 22, we can see whether or not you would be able to, carry the baby. Because if you don't have a progesterone, you did not ovulate, then it's just not possible, yeah? And because you did it on a day 26, 27, all the hormones are down, even the estrogen. What the doctors tell you, if you want to get pregnant, they usually say, look, the best time for us to see if you can build the follicle, right? So follicle is this red ball. You can see it in a follicular phase. We are building the follicle. And in the follicle is the egg. And so you can see that the pink or purple or not, it's pink. The pink color is estrogen. And so the first 6 days is like a menstruation. And then it should go slightly up to the ovulation, yeah? So you can see the estrogen is going up. And so the best is to test it, I don't say day 5, I would probably test it on day 7, 8, 9 to see if there is a sufficient amount. And if you would test it on ovulation or just before the ovulation, you should know if there was enough estrogen. So estrogen is needed to grow the follicle. Without that, it doesn't work. If the follicle doesn't grow, then it cannot burst and you cannot have progesterone, yeah? So I like to test everything on a day 21. And so Suze now sent me her tests. And when we look at them, yeah, so I'm sharing the screen, you should be able to see it.
Shouldn't be too bad then, because everything looks
yeah,
quite...
we don't have to, yeah. So it was almost like wasted money because it doesn't really tell you anything.
No, no, absolutely. But is well, like doctors in Switzerland.
Yeah. Because you don't pay it because you have a super duper insurance. It's good for you.
Yeah. No,
But
that's
everybody else who would pay it from their own pocket, this is like 200 Swiss francs test.
Yeah, minimum.
For nothing. Yeah. And so just, for the purpose to see. Yeah. So we would be looking at FSH and LH. Yeah. So even here, when I show you this picture, luteinizing hormone, LH, and follicle stimulating hormone. So only ladies, during the ovulation, these two are high. Otherwise, they should be always low. Yeah. So it was low. Well, actually, was it low? That's a question. Yeah. So we can see it wasn't enormously high. So follicle stimulating hormone, and it even tells you, like, so if you are in a luteal phase, you should be in this range. That's why I'm always asking, what was the day when you made the test? Because if you are, for example, in ovulation, you can see that the range is completely different.
Yeah.
Yes. So knowing the day of the menstrual cycle is absolutely crucial. Yeah, so you were within the range. For the luteinizing hormone, luteal phase, that would be slightly lower. Yeah, so you would be at the lower end. Then when we look at the estradiol, so you can see that in luteal phase, your estradiol levels actually should be still 0.21, 0.79, and you have only 0.55, which is not massive, but on the other hand, I would more be interested like in progesterone, yeah? And so we are looking at progesterone. Here they show you, they only show you progesterone 5.2. They're not giving you they give you the range. So in a luteal phase, you should have progesterone much higher. So the question is, if you ovulate, yes, so that would be the question. But you are using Oura Ring. So from your Oura Ring, if you look now to your mobile phone, because ladies, just Oura Ring, okay? We have Oura Ring.
Yeah.
And
The
Oura Ring
only
is
problem
measuring
that
the
it's not
temperature.
working well since a month. Now I manage it, like if I charge all day and I wear it during the night, I can read a little bit the data, but otherwise it's giving me so many problems. And I
Yes.
try to contact the company, but saying if they can send someone to replace, like, or a battery or do a control, but they didn't really solve my problem. But now is
Yeah, but do you know what? This happened to me as well. And I just like send them an email saying, look, I have to charge it like every 10 hours. The battery is not working. It's still in a
yeah, I
warranty.
say the
And
same, but they don't.
they
They
send me
say
a new one for free.
they didn't answer. I also asked if there was any chance they can send me another battery or another
No,
ring.
but you have it still in a warranty. The warranty is 2 years. If the battery is not working, they must send you a new ring. That's it.
I asked for it and they didn't answer me nothing. So I don't know why. To be
Yeah,
honest.
but did they at least ask you, can you give us the, purchase and stuff like that? Because usually they ask you, when did you purchase it? Show us the document, and then they send you a new one.
Okay.
Try
I
it
will
once
I
more.
will contact them again.
Try
Anyway,
it once more.
I
Just tell them, what I did, I sent them a screenshot saying, look, I charged it night before and I don't get any data because the battery doesn't last more than 8
yeah,
hours.
I say to them like, look, I charge it all night, all day, and then I put it in the night, and it doesn't get any data.
Exactly. So you need to like multiple times sending them things and they will send you a new ring. But just to explain, so how is it with the temperature? So when you really, really, really ovulate, you know about it because the temperature is going -0.2, -0.4, -0.6. And then in the time of the ovulation, suddenly it jumps up. Why? Because when the follicle bursts, and this corpus luteum starts to warm up the body. It starts to prepare it for the fetus. And so you know that you are ovulating because the temperature immediately changes. And this is how you can track your menstrual cycle. The problem is that if you go up and down, and it's totally irregular, then the hormones are out of balance. Because with having sufficient amount of estrogen, as you can see on this picture again, this one, estrogen brings your temperature always, always, always down. You go to minus. Yeah.
This temperature is called basale. Is that one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this temperature that we have here is the.
Yeah. Is it plus or minus?
Now it's plus because I start ovulating.
Yes. And what was it? If you look at it, and you would have some data,
It was minus all the last week for the data I have.
You were minus all last week?
Like during the, I was minus, just let me check which date it was. Let's say for what I had here, but no, I don't have the data.
Yeah, so I just tell you minus is not optimal, because after the ovulation, when the green line goes up, that's when the temperature should go also up and up and up.
No, but I was minus before the ovulation.
Yeah, so you are in, when estrogen goes up, you are in minus, 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 minus. Then you have ovulation, estrogen goes down, progesterone goes up. And from the ovulation, the temperature should go up, 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 up. And then you can see like 2 or 3 days before the menstruation, the temperature goes down again. So you know when you get your menstrual cycle. And if you wear the ring, you see exactly that the temperature is changing. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I noticed then it's changing, but well, like of course I would need much more data, like at least 1 month or 2 months.
Absolutely, we would need the data, exactly. Yeah. So again, when we look at the test, we can see that you actually didn't have sufficient amount of progesterone. Yeah, because in a luteal phase, which is until the menstruation, you should have minimum 10, and you had only 5, which is like very low.
Where do
Yeah.
you see that?
So can you see the highlighted luteal phase?
Yeah, like
Yeah, so I will again like highlight now luteal
the...
phase. This is the range. And then if you look slightly above it, here you have 5.2.
Ah, see, is in the other
Yeah,
page.
so you're on the first page. So your progesterone was 5.2, but the minimum should be 10.6. Yeah, so it already shows you that there wasn't sufficient amount of progesterone.
Okay.
And then we are looking at prolactin. It's a normal level. Prolactin should be high only when you are breastfeeding, lactation.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if prolactin is high, it's caused by stress, high cortisol. So usually when we are testing cortisol, we also see cortisol was high and then prolactin is high. Why? Because the body is like, hey, she's under stress. She cannot get pregnant now. So we are going to increase the prolactin, because when she's breastfeeding, she cannot get pregnant. You know, it's just not possible. If you breastfeed a lot, you cannot get pregnant. Prolactin is high, and then all the other hormones like estrogen and progesterone, that is usually when you breastfeed, there is no menstrual cycle, okay, in 99% of women. Then can be, of course, some like exception, but 99% of women, when they breastfeed a small baby, they don't have a menstruation and they don't have estrogen and progesterone, yeah, because the body is not prepared for another baby. And then they tested for you the TSH, which is a thyroid stimulating hormone in the brain, but that's actually good. Like 1.41 is a good number. Yeah. So it would be ideal to do it again, or you can do what Juliet did. And so we are going to look at, you know, her test, because we will be talking about what she should eat. But I also, ladies, prepared here for you a little bit of more like
if I go tomorrow morning, then it should be day, just a second. Tomorrow morning. Okay, I got my period on 16. So is 23 1 week. It will be day 9.
When?
If I go tomorrow morning and I ask to do all the exam again, and it's gonna be day 9.
It's at least going to show you if you have sufficient amount of estrogen to get pregnant. Because if you don't have sufficient amount of estrogen, the follicle is not going to grow. And you know, it can be anovulatory, so that it might not be ovulation. So even when you are bleeding doesn't mean that you had the ovulation. It's just that the follicle, you know, it was there, the body is preparing for a potential pregnancy, and then it doesn't happen. Yeah. because Susie wants to get pregnant. So for her, it's actually important to get the right day, the right amount of, estrogen and progesterone. Yes. For everybody else who doesn't want to get pregnant, you at least know what to avoid, like which days to avoid. And here I want to like show you the pathway where can be the obstacle. Yeah. So when people are telling you, hey, you should not eat cholesterol, you can actually see that cholesterol is a building block of all steroid hormones. So sex hormones are steroid hormones, okay? And they're very important for every woman to be in the optimal amount. And it's like a metro, when you travel with a metro. You go from station to station. And it depends, on the driver, let's say, how it happens. And so pregnenolone is the first stop. And then it depends which enzymes you have. So can you see, like I'm highlighting here some enzymes, yeah? I was like highlighting it here. And so these enzymes help you to get to the next stage. So for example, if you don't have this enzyme, this is made in the liver, or it's also genetic, yeah? Then you are not going to make progesterone. And if you don't make progesterone, you cannot make 17-OH progesterone, which is the active progesterone. And if you cannot make that, or if you make that and then something happens in your body, you are, for example, stressed, this is called cortisol steal. So when you are under massive stress, the body will say, okay, I am not going to make estradiol out of all this highway, but I'm going to make cortisol because now we need cortisol, yeah? It's always the same building blocks, it's just changing the highway. Or it's going to make DHEA, and it's going to make too much testosterone, or it's going to make this like masculine hormone DHT, yeah? So this DHT, it's 3 times more potent testosterone, and if female has it, that has impact on her, health as well. Acne, hair growing on the face, losing hair or thinning hair. Yeah, like a masculine trait.
Is that, Blanca, sorry again? The testosterone.
Yeah, so if you are under stress, what can also sometimes happen, or whatever your body decides, it can say, I am going to make testosterone. And testosterone is masculine hormone. Yeah. It's like a builder, muscles, da. And in female, we should have estradiol, estrogen. Yeah. So we have different estrogens. Estrogen is a group, family. And then we have estradiol, which is the most potent. That's the one that you need for pregnancy, estradiol. Yeah. So I would actually, Susie, recommend that you do this urinary test. It's much better because I tell you what's the difference. The blood test shows you what your body was able to produce, but not whether you were able to utilize it or what happened to it. Yeah. So I buy yogurt. I can show you that I have yogurt in my fridge, but whether or not I'm eating it, you will not know. But if you make a urinary test like Juliet, everything that you urinate out of your body, you have broken down, you have utilized it. Yeah. And so we know the metabolites, we know what she has broken down, what was really made. And so estradiol is the most potent estrogen for pregnancy. Then, for example, for perimenopausal, menopausal women, when we discovered that they have lots of estron. So estron, you cannot make babies from estron. Estron is made from the belly fat. So if I start growing belly fat or love handles, which I did, of course, at my age, it's because my ovaries don't produce estradiol. So, I will always produce more estron from the fat cells. Yeah. And then there is a very weak estriol. And then we have these metabolites. So OH4 is like potentially carcinogenic. It's damaging the DNA. So we can, from this test, even know if there is like a risk of breast cancer, ovarian cancer, and stuff like that. Yeah. So this is like a really, really good test to do. Yeah.
And
or you can do like salivary test.
Just to do it.
You can, well, anyway, this test is also done usually on day 21 because we want to see if you have progesterone. I would say that progesterone is the best marker because if you have sufficient amount of progesterone and also estradiol in your urine at the day 21, you know that first, what do you know? You know that you were ovulating. Yes, you have enough progesterone, so you were ovulating. And you still have enough estradiol, which means that you still like you had enough before. So day 21 is the day when everything is always tested. And what you can also see, for example, here, is that when we discover that you have too much of something, right? So for example, this is one of the enzymes. So this enzyme might be increased when somebody has hyperadrenalism, so with too much stress, or PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. Because what happens to women when they have polycystic ovarian syndrome? So as if I go back to this, so they have multiple cysts, like multiple follicles. So there was not one follicle that was growing, but it was multiple of them, but none of them became strong enough to release the egg. And so usually women with polycystic ovarian syndrome, they have irregularities in the cycle. They have, maybe cycle every 35 days or 60 days. Yeah, it's like a messy period because there is no one main follicle. And then we need to always look like, what is it? Is it because of the enzymes, because of the liver, because of how they eat, how they feel? It's like multifactorial. It's not just one thing that you can take one pill. Because if I show you, I was just like preparing here corporate presentation. And in this presentation, I always show them. Let me actually put it into the presentation mode so that you can see it in a better way. So this is, in functional medicine, we use this matrix. And in the matrix, mental, emotional, and spiritual is in the center of everything. If you are, stressed, whatever, it can physical stress, mental stress, emotional stress, trauma that you went through, then it's going to have impact on the repair of the cells, inflammation, energy, sensitivity to release toxins, communication of the cells, motility, so, digestion, constipation, diarrhea, bloating. It just has everything is impacted by these three factors. And so then we really need to look at, do you sleep, relax, exercise, move, nutrition, stress, relationships? Are there supplements missing? Because I prepared here, actually, there are like polymorphisms. So you can have like damaged liver that doesn't work. We have like support, like, of the phase 1, phase 2. So there can be like so many things that are missing. So if I actually show you like another picture, because I think I had one more picture somewhere.
Could you remember me, please, the pill for this oil pill that we was taking to
Evening primrose oil. Yes, that's the good one to increase progesterone. Yes.
Just a second.
Yes.
It was
Evening
from
primrose
Lambert,
oil.
right?
Say it again.
It was from Lambert.
Yes. Evening primrose oil. Yeah. And
if
yeah,
I may add, the primrose oil, how many times should we take it a day? Just once
you know
a day?
what, ladies? I take, I was just like showing to a client, I buy this because with the amount of supplements that you usually need for a therapeutic dose, and in my evening, I put 3 evening primrose oil. I take the largest dose. And this is not only for a healthy menstrual cycle, but this is also for the skin, for the mood, for what else they say, for like, yeah, it's just like so many benefits of the evening primrose oil. It naturally increases progesterone. Yeah, it's GLA. That's like one fatty acid. Yeah. And one more thing that I want to like show you here is that whenever you, for example, have like a fatigue, acne, itchy skin, inability to lose weight, digestive problems, that's the time to detoxify. And when people say, hey, I'm going to do the detox, the problem is that they actually don't know what they are doing, because what you need to do, you need to know which phase you need to support. So sometimes, maybe it happened to you as well, that when you drink coffee, this definitely happens to me. When I drink coffee, ladies, I cannot drink coffee in the afternoon. I will not sleep all night. I will be just awake. Because for me, the phase 1 activates it very quickly, but then the phase 2 doesn't eliminate it from the body. yeah, because my methylation process is not as fast. So I need to, support the methylation. I usually have low B12, even though I supplement it, I have it low. This is genetic, okay? So when you have a genetic predisposition for this, then, alcohol, drugs, medication, everything stays in the system for a very long time. Because what means detox? Drugs, that's detox as well. Alcohol, it's toxin. Everything is a toxin. Or even actually estradiol, estrogen, we don't want to have the hormones in our body all the time. We need to eliminate them every single day because the ovaries make them, make. And if you were to keep it in you, then it's higher. And then you have like stinky underarm. This is usually estrogen dominance, stuff like that. And so you need to know, where do I stand? Yeah, and so you can do like many tests because, sorry, I just need to switch off the phone. Sorry, it was just my son, because children are on holidays, right? They're on holidays and they just don't understand that at 7 o'clock, I'm still working, yeah? And so, for example, if you have some like deficiencies, like glutathione, you don't eat enough protein, you don't have the phospholipids, then you cannot, have, for example, the phase 1. And so sometimes what happens to people if they don't have strong phase 1, the drug is not working for them. For example, the doctor will give them a painkiller and they say, no, I still have pain because it was not activated. The drug that you buy in the pharmacy, it's not active drug. It needs to go through the stomach, it needs to go to the blood, it needs to go to the liver, and only liver in 20 minutes activates it. So if you don't have the phase 1, you will not activate it. You will be still in pain, right? But for me, let's say, because I have a lot of phase 1, like I will take the pill and I will not have pain immediately because it's just so fast, yeah? But then I cannot eliminate the drug out of my body. That's a problem. So you need to find out like what's missing. Of course, like you would have to do this from genetic tests or so on, which we are not going to do. But then you look at, okay, do I have everything that I need for phase 1 vitamin? Do I have enough vitamin D? Do I have enough quercetin? Do I have like vitamin A, which is needed not in pregnancy? So in pregnancy, it's forbidden, okay? No vitamin A, because it would like kill the fetus. But for everybody who is healthy and not pregnant at the moment, they usually take it. And then lysine. Lysine is very good, carnitine, taurine, and so on. And then you also need bile. And bile is made also in the liver to eliminate it in the feces or serum or kidneys or urine. And this happens also with the metabolites. So when we were, for example, looking at Juliet's results, Juliet, can I share the screen and show it? Yes? Okay. So I think we already have it, Juliet. We have it in your folder. Where is it? Oh, it's only the folder that I created. You did not have the folder. How did I share it with you before?
You sent by email.
I sent it by email. Okay, so let me just wait. So I send it here. And it's this one, because she did stool test, which was very interesting as well. But since we are today talking about hormones, we're going to look at her tests, okay? And so right away, I mean, it wasn't anything like severe, and we already spoke about like the supplements that she's going to take. But you can see how her liver is working. So for example, in the good one, so we have metabolites, the breakdown. So this one we actually want. It's the safest one, yeah? And then this one, 4OH, the potential for DNA damage, it's not what we want that much. And then we have a third one, which is highly estrogenic. And highly estrogenic, it's very, very potent. So what we definitely want to make sure is that these metabolites we eliminate from the body. So preferably, because we are going to do with Juliet this detox, and she already bought the supplements for detox, We will be detoxifying the most estrogenic that she had high. The DNA damaging was like okay level, and we will try to increase the OH2, which is generally considered safe. And so when we are looking, the phase 1, yeah, so I showed you in the liver, phase 1. How is her phase 1 working? So actually, it doesn't support too much of this OH2, but it is doing well with the OH4, like breaking it down. So there doesn't seem to be a very big problem. But then we look, this COMT, it's an enzyme. So this is like genetic coding, right? So we have genes that we need to eliminate it. So we can see that actually the methylation here is pretty good. And here it's not bad. You know, so overall, because it's only in slight yellow, I don't really worry so much. If it was in red, I would be worried. Yeah, so I am not worried. And then we were looking, you know, does she have estrogen and progesterone? And these levels were low. And what we discovered from her test was that she had quite a lot of, you know, again, this increased the 3 times more potent than testosterone. So this is the most potent version of testosterone, and that's what she had increased. So we will be, and we already spoke about it, that she will be using nettle, saw palmetto, lycopene, curcumin, green tea, zinc, evening primrose oil, we spoke about it, and EPA, the fish oil. Yeah, so we know what she needs to do to turn this around. Because again, if I show you that now she's making this hormone from testosterone, but what she actually wants is not to make this hormone, but she wants to make estradiol, the female most potent estrogen. And we will do it because we looked at, aha, this was the 5-alpha reductase that was making it. We will block it, we will inhibit it, and we are more going to concentrate on this pathway. Yeah, so this is why the tests are so good. And now, Juliet, you can ask me questions about this as well. So it's
No, yeah. One of the questions that I had was about the South palmetto. It's just like how many pills should we take in a day?
Yeah, the saw palmetto. Did you order it from BioCare?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so let's do this because we have 2 brands. Yeah, so we have Lambert's, which I like. So let me open Lambert's and we can compare how much they have and what they recommend. Yeah, so if I go to www.lamberts.co.uk and we will look at saw palmetto. Saw palmetto is really good to basically decrease the masculine hormone, and for men who don't have good sperm, saw palmetto actually helps them to have a better sperm quality and more testosterone. Yeah, so you can see it's suitable for men and women. You just always need to know why do you need it, what were your tests. And so when we look that here they have 160 milligrams and they say you should take 1 capsule a day. And now we will look at BioCare. BioCare is very, very, very good company, okay? Very good. But they just don't have very often the same potency. So, palmetto. But they had a really nice combination, right? Because they have saw palmetto combined with zinc and with nettle. And I loved it because that's exactly everything that you need. So let's just click on that product. Yeah, so we have there, this is for male fertility, but also like as we know for women. And it has nettle and ginseng, which is very good for energy as well. And when I go to look into the ingredients or nutrition information, so 200 milligrams of saw palmetto, wow, actually even more. Wow, that's a good dosage. So as you can see, we had 160 here, and they were saying 1 tablet, yeah? And here we have 200 of saw palmetto, and they say you should take 2 capsules. I would start just with 1 capsule because you are building into it, okay? because it will be already 100 milligrams of saw palmetto. You will have 5 milligrams of zinc, because we are cutting now everything half. Because if you take half of the dosage, you have half of this, and that will be sufficient. Start just with one, do it for 2 weeks, and then come back to me, telling me, how do you feel? Have you noticed that the skin is better? Have you noticed you have more libido? Have you noticed that there is ovulation happening? Yeah, like tuning into your body, and then we can adjust the dosage around it.
You think could be good for me as well?
I don't know if you have high testosterone. To really give you exactly what you need, I would love that you do these urinary tests. And then I will be able to see absolutely everything, because as you can see with Juliet.
So could you send me just a list of the urinary test I should ask for, or like what
They don't do it here. This we ordered from the UK. So you do it at home. This is a home test. This is a home test, and you ship it back to them. I don't think that they do this in Switzerland. This is functional medicine. So functional medicine goes really many, many, many steps ahead. If you go to the doctor in Switzerland, it's really only the basic. But if you, for example, want to know where you stand, then you can do even more than this. To this, you could even you could do so many tests. And this is just the first page. It actually also shows how much cortisol you have. Are you under stress? But we can see with Juliet, it was perfect. She just, is green level, going nicely up 2 hours after waking up. Her cortisol levels go nicely. Okay, we have a dip in the afternoon, and we were talking about it. She said, yeah, when I stopped working, I felt slightly, more tired, but then I kind of recover, and we could exactly see it. And the test it's 17 pages, yeah? So I showed you only the first page, but then we were diving deeper into what's happening in the body. Is there any damage? Why is this ratio so? This is the 5 alpha reductase with 5 beta reductase ratio. How can I rebalance it? Yeah. So here we just gave you only one thing that we did together, but she also did stool tests and from this company, and it's really complex. So we were able to talk about it. Yeah.